Chernobyl, the night reality split open. At 1:23 a.m. on April 26, 1986, the world didn't end, it cracked. Inside the Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant, reactor number 4 tore itself apart, not with fire alone, but with something far worse, something invisible, something patient, something that does not forgive mistakes. This is not a story about a reactor. It's a story about lies, fear, and the price of pretending control is the same thing as safety. 1. The test. Chernobyl was designed to be powerful, efficient, and obedient. That night, engineers were ordered to run a test. A simple question on paper. If power is lost, can the turbine keep the reactor alive for a few seconds? But nothing about that night was simple. The test had been delayed for hours. The experienced crew went home. The night shift took over, undertrained, exhausted, afraid to say no. Safety systems were disabled. Warnings were ignored. Numbers on the control panel stopped making sense. Inside the core, physics was screaming. In the control room, silence. At 1:23:40, the button was pressed, and reality broke. 2. The explosion. There was no nuclear blast, no mushroom cloud, just a violent pressure surge, and then another. The 2,000-ton lid of the reactor lifted and came back down shattered. The roof disappeared. The core was exposed. A column of radioactive material rose into the night sky, carrying iodine, cesium, and death across an entire continent. One engineer looked into the reactor and said the words that doomed them all. The core is intact. It wasn't. It was open. 3. Firefighters. The first responders arrived within minutes. No protective gear. No radiation detectors, no idea. They climbed onto the reactor roof, stepping on chunks of graphite glowing faintly in the dark, pieces of the core itself. They picked them up with bare hands. Radiation had no sound, no smell, no warning. By the time nausea set in, the damage was irreversible. Those men didn't die heroes. They died confused. 4. Pripyat sleeps. Just 3 kilometers away, the city of Pripyat slept. 50,000 people, young families, children. They woke up to a normal Saturday. Kids played outside. Couples got married. People stood on bridges at night, watching a strange blue glow rise from the plant. It was beautiful. It was lethal. No evacuation. No announcement. The state needed time. Radiation did not care. 5. The lie. The Soviet Union didn't warn the world, or its own citizens. The truth escaped only when radiation alarms went off in Sweden, over 1,000 kilometers away. Only then did Moscow admit something had happened. Not how bad, not what it meant. Because in the Soviet system, bad news was treason. Engineers didn't stop the test because stopping it meant punishment. Officials didn't report the explosion because reporting it meant blame. Chernobyl wasn't caused by ignorance. It was caused by fear of telling the truth. 6. The liquidators. To stop the disaster, the state sent people, hundreds of thousands of them. They were called liquidators because they were there to erase the problem. Men were sent onto radioactive rooftops where robots failed. They had 90 seconds, 1 minute to shovel lethal debris, 1 lifetime of consequences. Miners dug beneath the reactor in suffocating heat, naked, breathing radioactive dust. Pilots flew directly into contaminated air. They didn't ask questions. They followed orders, and they saved Europe at the cost of themselves. 7. The aftermath. The official death toll was 31. That number is a lie. Cancer doesn't explode, it waits. Thyroid cancers, birth defects, psychological collapse, entire villages erased from maps, lives split into before and after. Chernobyl didn't end in 1986. It spread through time. 8. The zone. A 30-kilometer exclusion zone still exists. Nature returned, not healed but unsupervised. Forests grew, animals multiplied, but mutation followed. Chernobyl became a monument to a paradox. The planet can survive without humans, but not without consequences. 9. What it changed. Chernobyl rewrote nuclear safety. It shattered public trust. Some say it accelerated the collapse of the Soviet Union, not because of radiation, but because it exposed something worse.